quite fun to shoot with a camera that is not my DSLR or my mirrorless camera. So I did like a little photo shoot with this one to show you. And I was experimenting with it, okay? I had no clue how it worked, but it's quite intuitive because these kind of cameras didn't have too much going on. So I started to experiment, and I encourage you to do the same if you have old cameras, because you may think they are rubbish, but the colors they give you, I don't know, for me they are very creative, and it's like a different way to post things on Instagram or in social media or just for yourself, with different tones and resolution. Because photography now, if it's very perfect and focused, yes, it's beautiful, yes, it's professional, but to get creative, I think it's very nice and so much fun to take these kind of cameras. So you have film cameras or these very old ones, point and shoot. I encourage you to go outdoors with these ones because you can have a lot of fun. You don't have to think too much about settings, and you can do creative things, and you're gonna experiment a lot with your eye as well, which is the main thing you need to learn about photography. So how did I take my self-portraits? The ones I'm gonna show you in a bit. All I did was take my old camera and then I put it on a tripod. These cameras work differently, so what I did is put the portrait mode, and then I made sure I lowered the exposure because I'm using a continuous light, so I didn't want the camera to guess the lighting. I wanted to put it dark and leave the continuous light to do the job. Then I made sure I put the self timer, and this camera has the option to put intervals, which means that you can take a few shots, up to 10, with seconds of delay. So this is great to be able to pause and change position and experiment. I also removed the flash because I didn't need it at this time. And you know, guys, for me it's very important the outfits you are using with models or with sole portrait photography. So I've chosen my leather jacket and my leather gloves because I wanted to show my gloves. I was doing these kind of poses, which I love. And I edited these ones with my Moody Greens preset available on my website, and I added some textures in Photoshop to give them a more vintage look. Comment below if you want a tutorial about how to do this. So in these ones as well, I added some sunglasses because props are super important to get more variety in your photo shoots, but also to help you with posing, so you have something to do with your hands. These are the shots, and I also edited them with Moody Greens, and I added some texture to give them the vintage effect. So I was experimented with my glasses, with my gloves, and then with my guitar. I love my bass guitar, and I think they are more creative with the bass guitar. I was shooting as well without a flash because I was shooting with the continuous light I have here. You're gonna have all the gear below, thinking that just using my continuous light I could create a studio looking photos, and I did, obviously with less resolution, so they are not bad at all. I think they are quite creative in terms of lighting. But then I was like, what if I try the flash of the camera? And I don't know about you, but I personally love flash on camera. Not to do professional photography work. Don't ask me why. I like to shoot with natural light unless it's in a studio. I always shoot in a studio with flash. But if it's outdoor, I prefer without. But these point and shoot cameras, when you shoot with a flash, they gave like a vintage look I love. So I did it by mistake with the bass guitar, and when I was shooting with the flash of the camera, actually I love how it looks. Tell me below what you think. I don't know, it's more flat, the flash obviously, but I don't know, it gives like a different vibe to the photos, and it's something super different to what I normally do. Also perfect in terms of lighting and things like that. So for everyone who doesn't have a professional camera yet, or maybe you cannot afford it, guys, you can experiment with your phone. I think I'm gonna do a video soon shooting with a phone in the studio, so I can prove like you can take good looking photos with a phone, because I always do videos doing professional photography, but I don't do videos using these kind of cameras, film cameras. I want to start using them more, and also with the phone. So many of you get very discouraged because you don't have an expensive camera or very good quality camera, or you don't have a camera at all. But in the meantime, guys, you can be very creative with a rubbish camera from many years ago, 7 megapixels, 4 megapixels, with a film camera maybe. I think it's very good to experiment just to train your eye, your creativity, because just using this one, I was experimenting with posing, with lighting, with settings. I know there are not too many settings here, but was able to experiment things, and I was learning to use this one as I was going shooting. So you can always train your eye, and training your eye is one of the best skills of a photographer. And if you're a portrait photographer like me, you're gonna be able to experiment with poses, with props, with angles of the camera, with framing, with the lighting. You can still learn all of that even if you don't have a professional camera. And I'm gonna do these different videos quite often as well, because I want to bring variety to my channel. And I do have film cameras as well, So in the future, I may just blog about me shooting with a film camera and show you the result, because probably I'm gonna screw up because it's so long I don't do film photography. But I think it's important to show you my creative process and my learning process, because I'm not an expert about many fields. For example, I'm learning how to do better YouTube videos. So you guys follow along and you can see how I edit, and that's me improving my filmmaking skills. So I think I'm gonna experiment way more, and I'm gonna introduce more creative topics on my channel as I experiment, so maybe I can inspire you to experiment as well with other things or to get ideas as well. Comment below what do you think about the photos I've taken. They are very imperfect, they are completely different, but I had fun with it, and I was very excited to take this little camera from many years ago. I used to have since I was living in Spain still. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, like it because it helps me a lot. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't yet, and I will see you in the next one. Big love.